Hey, howdy, hi guys. What an absolute treat of an episode this is. Lots in store. I just get to sit down with Emily, Melissa, and Lisa. We talk about Bandera that happened earlier this year. We talk about the Mud Fest that was Rocky Raccoon, the Cowtown Marathon. We get into a little bit of night running, things about being a pacer and tips with that, and all kind of laughs along the way. Some wonderful stories. This is a treat. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. This is Light on the Trail podcast, and I'm joined today with a full female crew. Something that I've been wanting to do and talk with one of our biggest fans. If you've seen Lisa on the socials, she's always liking and saying hi to things and part of the Burleson Running Club. But we're going to touch a couple topics today. Big one's going to be Rocky Raccoon. But first, let's go around the table. We'll start to my left with Melissa. Hi.
Hi, I'm Melissa.
What real quick, what were you in Rocky? And we'll get to that in a little bit. But
I was the pacer for Lisa. So the final part of her loop.
And that's a whole nother episode I wanted to have, is talking to pacers and talking to like the photographers. I've had that in the works. That'd be really neat. People that work kind of around the other stuff and the other parts of everything. Same thing with aid stations and all that. Melissa, how'd you kind of get into trail running?
I had a friend at work that encouraged me to go do 6-0 ranch run, just the 6 miler, my first trail run. I had no idea what I was doing, but I fell in love with it, and I have done most of the Blaze trail runs.
Yeah.
Have not done Possum, but I just love it.
When
I
was
love
that?
being out in nature.
When was the 6-0 that you did?
3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe.
Nice.
Yes. So it's been a while, and then I just trained on my own, and then I decided this doesn't work very well when you just run when you want to run. So I tried training myself, and that's fine when you can run 3 or 5 miles, but when you have to run 8, 10, 12 miles, that makes it difficult.
Right.
So I met the herd and decided to join them, and just have started running more trail races, a few road races, and
got into it and kept in it, and
now I'm
one thing leads to another, and then you're pacing people. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Miss Lisa.
So I used to run a little bit in high school, and then I dabbled into it in and out as I got older. And Stephen and I joined the Burleson Club, and the person that was leading the club at that time was somebody from the herd from Fort Worth. And kind of from there, it just kind of snowballed. We eventually went to go visit the herd, and then we joined the herd. And about the same time, we also started running in Mansfield, and that was more of a social run group. So that was really good. And then to mix it with like a training group in Fort Worth really was a good mix for us to get started. And so once we started that, then Melissa, I think, started trying to get me into trails and got us in our first trail run. And then here we are.
What was your first trail run?
It was also 6-0, but it was like a year ago.
That's right. We've had this talk. I knew this sounded familiar before. And this is the Lisa, for listening, when I had the interview with Stephen and Scott with the Burleson Running Club. This is the Lisa that's with Stephen that started that. But that's right, because I have one of my early episodes is my first time at an aid station, and it was at 6-0. And that was my first time seeing, not really meeting, but I was like, right. Hey, I've seen those people. They're the Burleson people. Yeah, that's right.
It. That
awesome.
was that race.
It was pretty warm. That's an open course. Gets
no
pretty
shade.
toasty.
No shade on the end.
And finishing out the loop around the corner is Miss Emily.
Hello. My name's Emily. So a little bit of a backstory. How I got into running was I played soccer my whole life, and I hated running. I wouldn't run. I wouldn't do sprints. I hated it. And I grew up in New Jersey. And when COVID hit in March, they shut down everything for 6-7 months. And I was really big into weightlifting then, so I couldn't go to the gym and lift weights. So I just started going outside and started running, and just really got into it. And then I moved to Texas, in 2022. And my boyfriend, Brandon, his best friend, signed us up to do the Crimson Canyon race in Richfield. He ended up ditching us, so we went out there and ran a 25K. And I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. So I really got into running then. Ran the Chicago Marathon.
Wow.
Ended up hating road running since that experience, and just love trail running because it's way different than road running, and it's a lot more challenging than running a road marathon.
Yeah, that kind of I can what's the bless your heart like Southern way to say it? I can appreciate road runners. However, I just like being out in like the woods and like nature and stuff and having a little different, and I do honestly like can appreciate, it's really nice when you don't have to worry about roots and rocks and trails and stuff, and you can just cruise on like a track or a sidewalk or a road. So it's great both. I think mixing both is wonderful. Time for like speed and consistency on like road and stuff, and staying, aware and agile on the trails, and that brings a whole nother environment and everything into it. But having the mindset of doing hard things and wanting to get better, I think can lead into all kind of different aspects of life, and helps everyone grow. And I was just telling them too that I had signed my wife up for the Coyote in a couple months, which is 2 weeks before my first 50. And she's accidentally ran like 4.5 miles with me before in a trail, and it's only an 8-mile loop, and it's tough, but some of it you have to hike anyway. It's not really runnable. You can do it. She's like, no, I don't like, this and that. I'm like, I can't explain to her, like, it's good that you don't like it, because when you do it and you complete it, you'd be like, hey, I'm kind of a stud. I'm like, yeah, it's like, you're going to be good at it. And she's like, now you're done.
It'll give her a confidence boost.
Exactly. And she can do anything that she's done stuff like that before. So kind of the main topic of today's episode is the wonderful Rocky Raccoon that happened recently, like maybe a month ago now. Has it been about 4 weeks or so?
Yes.
Dang. The mud fest of whatever else, I don't know a better way to explain it. I was not there. However, if you've seen anything on the recent Rocky Raccoon that happened, it's a pretty popular, like, loved race. It's in the Huntsville.
Close to Houston.
Yeah. At that park, I've never ran it, but it's one I've definitely heard a lot of good things. Our buddy who also runs in the area, Jeff Clapwrote, he talked about doing it a couple months back, and he didn't, because he wanted to get real ready for the Cowtown, which we'll touch on that a little later. So the Rocky 50, and what was everyone's distance that we did? And Melissa, you were pacing for Lisa, so you came in.
So I did the last 11 miles
with her. Okay,
with her out of 50.
Of the 50, Lisa, that's what you were signed
50
up
miles,
for.
yes.
And you were there too, Emily? No, you weren't. Or you were?
Yes.
I was there.
You're not at Cowtown. You're at, that's okay.
I was at Rocky.
I'm
50.
there. Yeah, you were right. Okay, and what did you do the 50 as well?
So the goal was the 50 miler. I ended up doing a 54K instead and took a DNF.
Would it be because of knee-high or plus-high water and swimming and having to trek through mud? And because that's kind of what we're getting at. How awesome was the mud?
The mud was just fantastic. The first loop was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed running in the rain. But I was battling IT band pain the week before it started to come on. And so towards the end of the first loop, I stepped in some mud that went to mid shin, and pulling my leg out of that mud really aggravated my IT band.
Yeah.
And then I had a blister from Bandera that has not healed. And so running in knee-high water and in mud definitely did not help my blister at all.
A definite mixture of things.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Miss Lisa, what was, I guess, was it your first 50 miler too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you did complete it.
Yes.
You went, okay, people, so listen up.
I was the last one. Not
only, right, the distance, which is very hard. I haven't, like I just said, I'm going to do my first one in a couple months. She's done it before me, and it was in a heck of a weather to complete it in, but get it done. So that's back to the whole foundation of doing hard things. And here we are. So what was your like a couple weeks out and then like the day of, like, were watching the weather, or were you feeling before the like weather out of the whole thing? Like, were you physically like, okay, I'm like, I can probably complete it, feeling good?
Well, luckily, it's weird because we're all different runners. And for Stephen and I, we had signed up since last April. So I think as soon as it opened up, we signed up. And because somebody else from our Fort Worth group had told us about it and her experiences and then her pacers. And we had seen all the pictures online. So I don't know what came over us, but we decided, well, you know what, we're going to sign up for next year. And we told our coaches. And so we spent a lot of time getting ready. I mean, it wasn't a picture perfect finish, but we put a lot of time and effort, not only in training, but like nutrition and all that good stuff. So we were excited for sure.
You would say had the consistent kind of mind. You were getting ready for it. That was kind of was that like for this year, you think it was like your A thing?
Yes,
like,
that was definitely my A race.
Awesome. Uphill from now. Like, I mean,
for sure.
You're adding on to that. That's wonderful.
For sure.
And how was your first loop? Would you say fun too? Because I've caught myself getting in the rain and stuff, and it's like I almost like kind of crazy conditions because I feel like it evens the playing field. Like, no one's really used to being in this kind of snow or this slippery mud. Like, so now we're all kind of new to this, where there's one person who's like only trains in Colorado, like above 20,000 feet, and they're like, okay, well, that's not fair. So
no, it does.
You had, it was fun the first lap, or did you? Yeah.
I think so. And I've had a past experience with Melissa where we ran a trail race in Oklahoma. That was
Lake Murray in October.
Oh, the other Mudfest.
The other Mudfest. Yes.
Oh,
I think Lisa
you.
brings the rain.
I am going to make sure that she doesn't. She's going to be at the Cleveland though. The Coyote. Oh no, we'll see.
So I've had that experience of running in steady rain with deep mud, not like just wet dirt or packed dirt.
Yeah.
So luckily I've had that. So it was okay. And the rain kind of evens it, but it's also kind of a distraction because you're so busy trying not to slip and fall.
It definitely makes you slow down, probably.
It makes you slow down and makes you like not think about the other stuff that's hurting or the other miles that you need to complete. So I kind of liked it for a mental distraction.
Yeah.
At least for that first loop.
Did you bring, and this kind of gets tossed out the window. I was going to ask, I think around a 50 mile and up is when the idea of bringing like a pair of shoes to change into may come into play. But there's not really a point if it's going to get soaking wet. So did you change shoes? Like, I mean, maybe if one shoe just, I mean, do you think that mentally gave you like a little step up? Like, well,
Yes.
I got new shoes on at least. Okay, yeah.
And you're right. As soon as we stepped, they put, our crew put them on, put our socks on. We had us change clothes. As soon as we stepped out, we were soaked again. But our coach wanted us to do that no matter what.
Yeah.
So I trust her judgment. So we did what she said. And yeah, it does give you a little mental boost, but you're still wet.
At least you feel for a second the dry shoes, like, I remember that.
Yeah.
And then you can get back out in the mud.
For sure. So we definitely packed extra shoes and socks and clothes and all that good stuff.
Very good. And how did everyone's so like just rock stars and getting into everything, because Steven ran it too.
Yes.
With you, did the 50 as well. That was both of y'all's first 50.
Yes, correct.
Okay, awesome. Did he finished with you or before you?
Before me.
Okay.
As soon as we got our pacers, it was a different race for both of us. So
Okay.
he got in front of me and
Making-
did his thing.
We
Making
saw
sure.
a snake, though, so we let them pass.
You go ahead. Make sure. Yeah. That's perfect. That kind of leads me into the next, like, so at what time of day or how many hours have you been running before you got with Melissa and y'all got after it?
We couldn't join them till 5, but I want to say it was closer to 6,
And did
between 6 and 6:30
When did it
before we
start?
joined.
Like 6 in the morning?
7 or 6.
7:30 or 8.
I'm
early.
guessing
I
it's
think
usually around 6 to
7.
8.
I think
Yeah. Probably around 7.
Okay.
7, yeah.
So until 6 p.m., 5 p.m., or you said 6 or 7 p.m.
we could join them at 5, but it was probably between 6 and 6:30 before they made it to where we could join them. We had to join them at an aid station, so
Okay.
We joined them at the nature center.
And how was Lisa looking how was her
Lisa
spirits?
looked amazing on loop 1 and 2, and she was doing awesome. She did awesome anyway because she finished.
She did it,
but,
yeah.
She looked like she was not feeling well when she came into the nature center. She needed some ginger.
Yeah.
Oh, like a literal like piece of ginger, like
Yes, she needed some ginger candy.
You know, you can train and train and train and practice, and race day, it never compares to what you've trained for. You know, I had all my nutrition stacked and ready and by loops, and you know, I still got a little nauseous to where I couldn't hold anything down. And if you don't have that, you know, you're not going to be able to feel your best to finish that last loop. So when she got to me, I was getting a little bit in rough condition. So,
and I could say that, and Emily, you had like, I mean, more physical reasons. I would say there's definitely a mental side. When I had worked a race before, and we had people start DNFing because it was really hot. But do you think if I'm on the brink of like, man, this is really sucky, like I'm not even able to really run, there's, you know, you get to that kind of, this is no point and negative, and then you start noticing other people DNFing, would you say that is like a little bit of fuel to people to like, I'll, you know, if they're looking for a reason?
I don't think there should be a reason unless it's going to affect you physically in a way where it'll take you a long time to recover. I think if my knee wasn't bothering me and my blister wasn't bothering me, I could have finished.
And that's
and
what
I
I'm
would have
saying.
pushed through. But it was the pain on top of the rain and being cold that really pushed me to the brink, and I just could not mentally get there.
And it was and that's what I'm like, for someone that really wanted to do it and could totally do it, and then probably be a little ticked off that like, come on, IT band, like, come on, blister, like, I know this weather sucks, but I am trying here. And then there's other people that are wishing they had like their IT band was acting up, you know, maybe to be like, shucks, it's just not my day, I guess I'm done, you know. But when you start hearing or seeing other people DNF, I think I've seen that happen at a race before, and you're like, it like opens that idea more to you that like, oh yeah, it's okay, I can DNF. But
yeah, I didn't feel bad DNFing when I saw everyone else on the list. And I think I would have been more upset if I didn't get a medal for still going 54 kilometers. But yeah, I think if you don't have physical pain, you just have to have that mental toughness to push through. And if you tell yourself that, yeah, I can do this, I can do hard things, and you keep repeating these positive comments to yourself, you can definitely push through and get it. It's just a individual sport. You have to do it by yourself, especially if you're not with a group of people.
Right.
It makes it way harder.
Right. And that's like, and can bring us back to having like a pacer. That's like how helpful a pacer can be when it's just a body by you that's like rooting you on. So did you do, how long did you, at the point that you got with her, how many laps did you do with her? Or
we were on the last loop,
that's what
so
I
I
thought.
just
Okay.
had 11 something of the 17 or 16 mile loop.
But you'd been there all day
Since 10 o'clock.
waiting
Yes,
to,
waiting.
So
yes.
were you,
I was with her crew.
oh yeah.
So helping
So
when they would come in, cheer, find their food, find their hats.
was
find
there a
their
little bit
shoes.
of, I would say nervousness, but were you ready to get it done, but also slightly like dreading now I have to get out there and it's dark and, or starting to get dark, I guess, around 7 or so.
I was not nervous of the mud and the rain. We've done that already. I was a little nervous about the darkness because I hadn't done a night race.
Oh.
And so I wore my vest and I had my headlamp.
The light up stuff and yeah.
You know, it was, but I learned that day I can do that. So now, you know, if a night race comes along, that would be great.
That's right.
Been
But
there,
it was a new experience for me to be a pacer as well. I had not done that before, so had to learn some lessons for next time if I ever get to do it again. So, got to get behind her and push.
Like physically?
Yes, I was in front of her.
Okay.
I can't touch her. But I was in front of her. And so she's like, no, I want you in front of me. And I understand why she wanted me in front of her. Because I probably would have been doing the same thing she was doing behind me with her at that point. But yeah, we made it to the next aid station with, I don't know, 2 minutes to spare. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They were trying to kick us. I mean, they were going to sweep us. So
Yeah,
they were like,
gonna
you
sweep
got to
us
get her
off.
out of here.
But our
Oh my
coach
gosh,
showed up
yes.
with ginger. And luckily, a girl on the trail gave us some ginger.
That's right. Forgot about that.
And I think that really helped her nausea. So she could eat something, because being out on the trail with not being able to eat just puts you behind.
And it's one thing,
and it makes it more difficult to keep
it's one
going.
thing to slow down, like we were saying, like, hey, maybe it's good because it makes you slow down, but you're also exerting more work, more effort, like pulling your legs out of the mud and all that. It's like, so it's a different, you're not used to training in that. So you're like, how much calories is this really burning? Or am I feeling all that? And you think you're doing okay, you're cutting, but then maybe your temperature's a little, core is cool. Yeah. It's a whole nother aspect. So, and then, which if it's like a 5K or 10K or, something, it's maybe not that much in effect, but once you get to a certain distance into like hours and definitely nighttime, that's a whole nother mental, I wouldn't say primal, but like when it's dark, your body like goes into a different kind of like, oh, is it like bedtime now? And you're like, no, man, we have 11 miles to go. Like, please get your act together. And like, I think I'll feel sick. Like, please stop. Yeah. These people are telling me I have 2 minutes left. We got to get going. Like,
I don't think the weather helped with that at all either, because it would be really cold and then get real hot and then get real cold again. And then when it started raining on you, you're already wet. And then the rain was cold.
Yes.
So it was just a constant battle with the temperature.
Man. Oh my, do you know what the completion rate was? I haven't looked into it or anything, or how many, because I know it's a popular race.
No, I would say probably about 20 people DNF'd from my race. And a lot of them, about half of them, so about 10 DNF'd after the first loop, and the other 10 DNF'd after the second loop.
Some people did the first loop and was like, yeah, why?
Not worth it.
Why? Yeah. I'll just go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. In some people, if you just signed up for the race because you like, Rocky's cool and you did it last year or whatever, if you're not really like, if it's not like, you probably had quite a bit more drive because it was your first 50.
I was going to finish.
You had a little more drive.
They had to drag me off.
If it was your first time pacing, you felt a higher responsibility where it's not like you've done it 50 times and you're just like, it's not that much of a rush or that important right now as it could be for your first time,
Right.
and all that kind of aspect to it too. So there's some people, right, if they've done it before, they sign up for all the races and they're just like,
yes.
Yeah, there's a different side to that.
I think back to my DNF too is I had to get my priority straight. I was starting a new job the next day.
Oh my gosh.
So it was go to work limping in a wheelchair and having people question me, or just quitting now and getting a redemption race later on in the year and not pushing myself where I'm
handicapping
yourself
yourself later. Yeah. What distance? How long did you end up running, or like, and what time did you stop?
33.66 miles. And it took me a little over 9 hours, which is not normal.
Dang.
That was very long. But I met up with Lisa and Steven at the second loop, and we just walked. And I think that was part of the hardest part was walking.
Yes.
For 16 miles. It's not easy.
In rain.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And then you walked way longer, 32 miles in rain.
Oh, yeah. I tried, but it came back to power hiking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
At
I
the
have a
end,
question.
we did jog in.
Yeah, we did jog in. Yeah,
She got some food in her.
I was able to jog in.
She would jog in.
So if the course hadn't been loops and what if it was like point to point, do you think you would have forced yourself to finish? Because people say if there's too many loops, it's easier to like DNF. It's like a mental thing.
I think so, because I think I wouldn't have stopped as long as I did each loop.
Okay.
The second loop the first loop when I came in, I stopped and foam rolled my leg and laid down on the ground and then changed my socks. And I think just being there for about 10 minutes didn't help anything. So I think if it was one giant loop,
Or point to point. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have.
Right.
Interesting.
I would have pushed through.
Because if it's one loop or A to B down, even a down and back, maybe like if you get down to the end, you're turning around, you're
You
like,
have to go back no matter
that's
what.
kind of like once
Yeah.
you get to halfway. And we were talking, I had just done the Tina House marathon. It was 2 laps. Cool. 1 lap is halfway done, and then you're back out there. Like, oh, now I'm on my way back. I say in quotes, but even
Right.
though you have 13, whatever miles left, it's like, yay. And I just saw what it was, so now I kind of know what to look for. And like, this spot's gonna be runnable. I'll try to run on that. This spot's gonna be hiking, really rocky. So we're gonna slow down this time. I would say anything over 2 laps, because I guess in a way 2 laps is kind of like a down and back or something. But I think I've heard that's definitely a side to A to B versus like 6
Multiple
laps.
loops. Yes.
And
That's-
that brings me to Bandera. It's that one loop that we did. That was 2 loops for the 60 miler. And since we did the 50K, it was
gosh.
1 loop. And if I signed up for the 60 miler, I don't know if I would have done the second loop because that course was hard.
I heard I would love to do that one. I heard, and we can talk about that for a little bit because Lisa, you were there and Stephen were there. Or
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
awesome. So, cred. No, wait, put a pin in that. I wanted to add, because this is something I forgot about. You mentioned not being able to push or like touch Lisa. I cannot remember what races it is. I think it's like a really like UTMB or some other bigger ones, but certain races will let you, as a pacer, you can mule for the runner.
No,
So
these ones you cannot mule.
You can carry
and
that's crazy. That's
and
awesome.
They
You
say
can carry
it's
their
for
stuff.
those big races that they don't want you muling, because it gives them an advantage.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. I was like, so you saying you can't even touch them and pull them and help them, especially when there's mud, like,
Right.
and that's a lot on the honor system because they're not all they're out there on the trail like watching.
But at the aid stations, we had to make sure at the aid station, I think it's different. Is that correct?
I think you can say I'm getting this for her and give it
Okay,
to her, but
okay.
out on the trail, like I couldn't carry her nutrition and hand it to her. I couldn't, give her my water
Or give her my vest to say,
Yeah.
carry this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
carry
exactly.
my vest.
You
know,
couldn't even
when-
hold her water bottle
No, I
either if
couldn't-
she
I couldn't do
wanted
any-
to tie her shoes, right?
Technically, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think.
I would think if you're not
I'm glad she
moving,
didn't have to tie her shoes. I didn't have to tie them up.
check. That's a positive, right? Didn't have to tie her shoes because the mud made it like a cement.
I would have been me tying her shoes.
But so okay, into Bandera, which I've heard great things. I'd love to run that. Also by
Tejas
Trails. Yeah. So same people with Rocky, I just did the Tina House with them. So what distance did you do? I know you just said it.
50K.
The 1 lap.
1 lap.
30-mile, pretty much.
30-mile loop. Yep.
That's a heck of a loop, golly. But that's nice because it's one lap.
It is.
Yeah.
You're already out there. So you get 15 miles, which is no little jog, and you're like, okay, we're halfway through, and I'll just keep going, and you just kind of truck it. Is it very heard is really like sandy, rocky, and then up and down, like some really steep stuff,
Yep.
like hiking.
And a lot of cactus.
Oh yeah,
Can't avoid them. Have to run through them.
It's one of the big warnings they put on the intro
Yeah.
guide is you're going to get cut up by
Yeah.
whatever those cactus are.
They even put it on the metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
nice.
So I think a lot of us ended up with scratches like on our legs.
I wore leggings.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Super thick
She's like,
leggings.
no. I wore leggings. I don't know about y'all guys.
Yeah.
Did you do the 1 lap, Lisa, or what did y'all do? Yeah, okay.
But I did it the day before because mine was non-competitive. So I had a longer cutoff than Emily did.
Had some time just to complete it and get it
Yes.
done. But the course
But it was still awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
what was the temperature? Because it was earlier this year though, right?
Well, it was different. So you can go first since you were day one.
Mine was a beautiful day. Like I had picturesque pictures. The sun was out, blue skies.
Yeah.
On Emily's day,
It was below freezing the whole day and started to mist on us and was extremely windy.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I guess I just heard Lisa's side of the weather like that. And so you did the competitive and it was freezing.
Yes. And it was fine. I mean, I
You
think
were
the
moving
biggest
pretty good and
Yeah, the biggest issue was my hands just I don't know, they swell up for some reason in the cold and I couldn't grip anything. But it was
like
it was fun.
they get stiff where you can't.
Yeah. I was running with my buddy Scott and you could just see the frost forming on his hat. It was kind of funny, but
Holy cow.
it's cold.
Jeez Louise, is that I don't know. I've never used like hiking poles, but did you need like poles or like did you have running bottles or did you have a vest or what did you
I had a
have with you?
vest. I didn't need the poles. My boyfriend did the 60 miler the day before, and he used the poles.
Okay.
But I'm sure they would have been super helpful at some points.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. So some of it was like that much climbing that you think like it surely would be nice to have some sticks to push myself up with.
Yeah. So what I've noticed with myself, and I've done research on it, when people walk upstairs, they're out of breath. And it's because they don't breathe because they think about walking up the stairs rather than breathing. So I think instead of focusing on my breathing, if I had poles to go up some of these hills, it would have made it a little easier on my breathing. And I think that would have been the only benefit, at least for me, is just helping with the breathing aspect.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's very important. Yeah. Definitely with, okay.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Good. Yeah. So yeah, muling in certain races, you cannot carry things. And also, hey, breathing, don't stop.
Yeah.
Keep doing it as you go up the, something I like, and with my recent race, I just kind of reminded myself and was telling myself, you know, keep moving. And when it's something's runnable, especially at the Tainahas, was, again, some parts were very rocky and you had to climb and everything, but some of it was also really rocky, but downhill. So I tried to, like, do you find yourself like opening up or just making sure like going faster downhill if you have a downhill stretch on anything? Or do you think you kind of like try to keep a pace or slow down? Because I kind of throw like self-preservation to the wind and I just bomb down like hills and just pick my knees up. Just pick my knees up. Don't die. Go. Like this is free speed. Gravity's pulling you down. Is that was a similar course? If y'all can...
I do that, but I'm looking at Melissa and she's giving me the no face. If I have a downhill and it's looks safe enough to like just let go, then I'll let my body weight kind of take me down.
Well, I will if it looks runnable, but if it's like
Crumbling
Dana Peak or Coyote with a bunch of rocks, I'm walking.
There's definitely some portions at Coyote at Cleveland, that's like they're really big steps, and it would be even parts in where I just was at Colorado Bend. It was like you have to be careful. You could have just fallen off the side of a cliff, but.
I'm afraid to run down. I'm afraid to hurt myself. So I do a leprechaun hop.
The little
hop down the hill. So I do a hard landing on my heel and just kind of hop my way down. That way I don't fall.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a skipping motion.
I've seen, yes. I'll try to like almost ski sometimes to kind of right foot this way and then this way. And like as you're navigating through the rocks, depending on the technicality of it, and some things you cannot do that. Does anyone like to, like, I guess if you're, depends on your intentions. If you're really trying to negative split or go faster on this, or if it's race or if it's training or not, but like with the hills there, like maybe the first half or so, were you like trying to, I don't want to say pass people, but you're finding yourself like pushing more than you should, like going uphill? Cause that's, it's really hard sometimes and you really like wear you out, but.
No, I don't really care about anybody else on the course for trail running, at least not now. It was mainly just don't stop and keep going and focus on small steps going up the hills. It makes it a lot easier. But everyone else around me, I'll let them pass. Okay. They don't bother me.
And that's kind of why because we have like both completed it, but you did the competitive side, non-competitive side. So there's you can just push yourself and have your good race, or like I'm going to stay in front of this person and kill yourself, even if it makes you last. But how did you do fine? You enjoy it?
Yeah. So finished in 7 hours and 23 minutes. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Not in the moment, but after the race, it was fun. Yes. But my goal for running is to not be the last person. Sorry. I would have been the last person at Rocky, okay, if I finished. But that's always my goal, is just to not be the last person. And me and Scott, we met up with this guy, Paul, and I told Scott at one point, I'm like, listen, if it's just us three and we're the last three in the race, Paul's going to be the last one.
We have to make this.
Paul came in 30 people after us. We lost him, and he just, I don't know what happened to this poor guy, but he suffered.
He was in a different world. Yes. Yeah. Yikes. What was your, I guess it wasn't competitive on your way, but you weren't last on the Bandera.
No.
Aha.
I think we were about 9-ish hours or a little bit over 9 hours. But it was still a tough, for me, it was still a tough 9 hours. It wasn't like I was just like lollygagging.
That's a lot of time on feet.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
working.
exactly.
When I did the Sufferfest, it was like 9 hours and something, and it was like, and that was a 3-lap thing, and it was like, my goodness, let this be over. It was dark, and 9 hours is a long time.
It is.
That's great to complete.
But it was like, I think it was a fun course, just hard.
Yeah.
And I would definitely go back and try to improve what I did this past year. So
There was a lot of variety
yes.
in the terrain, which was fun.
That's fun. Yeah, yeah. Texas has a lot of stuff to offer because there's a lot of acreage to go way north and grab some different kind of terrain, or go way east or way west, or way, so it's kind of, there's a little bit of everything in there. It works out. Back, since we're kind of talking about, I was going to say techniques on trail or whatnot. So what is something, Melissa, back with you about pacing? Because I am interested on that side of stuff. So a technique for pacing that you learned or would change if you had, if one of them were like, hey, I need you to pace me in a month for this race, what's your takeaway? What are you going to do better or learn from and stuff like that?
I need to be mean, and I need to say, you need to move. We need to make this cutoff. And we made the cutoff to the first one. But I was being too hard on myself, because I was like, like Lisa's expecting this, John's expecting this. So anyway,
that's got to be hard. Like you're their friend. I mean, I've people will pick up pace, like someone, hey, I'll pace you. I don't know you, but I like running too, and they'll do that. But it's like, here's my buddy. Okay, time for me to pace them. Oh, they look like a trash can.
I knew she felt bad.
And then you need to tell them to.
And I'm like,
keep going.
We got to keep going. We got to keep going. Come on. You got to stay so far. You can only get so far away from them too, which.
And you said it worked better for you to be in front of her?
Well, I was in front of her, but I think it would work better if I was behind her. To kind of.
Because I wanted to stop.
Verbally abuse her.
I was slowing down and I let her go.
Yeah, I've never had a pacer, so I don't know if it's... I think I could see both sides of it as if I don't have to worry about where I'm going, because that's part of like,
yes.
At the Tina Haas again, I both laps, there's only 2 laps, and both times I stopped at a sign that said wrong way, and I was like, oh yeah, and I had to turn around, and like, it was just a step, like, so it was an obvious spot, but thankfully that was there, and PJ's great at marking trails, but I could see a benefit of being like, all you have to see is like the back of your pacer's feet, and you can just kind of zombie walk and keep going, and that's all you have to look at and worry about. But then also you could fade away from them and fall back, or if they're behind you, right, they can stay and like, hey, I'm catching up to you, like we're slowing down, like they're behind you, like nope, we need to go faster, and like, right, you're out there behind you and you can hear them better as they talk. What do you agree, or what do you think would work better?
I will say, after this experience, since this is our first long distance where we've got like a crew, we have a pacer, I don't know if I could ever pace somebody, because now that I've seen her, I'm like, it would scare me to have that much responsibility.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Like, you're running in the dark. You have to know the course. You're trying to take care of, whoever's running. That's a lot. And it would make me very nervous.
I was nervous, but it was a great experience. And
for sure,
I would do it again. And the advice given to me was, you need to ask her what she wants. And so when I met up with her, she wanted me to be in front. And I got to that last aid station and the coaches were there. I'm like, I think I got to put her in front of me. And she's like, I'm not getting in front of you. Okay. And then there were these 2 gentlemen behind us. I said, Lisa, we cannot let them pass. We cannot let them pass us. We got to go. We got to go. We got to go.
Yeah, you were pushing her? Okay.
Yeah, they passed us. And then we took a little detour.
A little extra mileage just for the fun of it. In the dark.
Please elaborate on the extra mileage that...
Not much.
Okay.
Half a mile, maybe.
Yeah, in the dark, in the mud puddles.
Yeah, we were walking
already
upstream.
How many miles in? Oh.
Yeah, we were, I don't know, 5 miles from the finish.
So close.
And we missed there was not a sign. I really think there was not a sign, but yet somehow we got back on track.
How'd you realize you were like...
Well, because we were walking towards the bottom of a bridge.
There was
upstream trees, and she's like, maybe just something fell over.
Because I would believe
Because
that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, Lisa, did you have to do this before? She was like, no, but maybe a tree fell over. Okay. So then we turned back, and I'm like, well, there's the other side. This is the wrong way. So we turned back, and I text our coach, and I said, we're lost.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if she called, because then pretty soon I'm on the phone, and he's like, just go back the way you came. And then miraculously, there's a sign that says you have to go left.
Remember this sign? Remember this one?
No, we did not see that sign before, but you can see it on our little map where we took our
Oh, that's
detour.
great. I like, and you can, after a big race happens, and if you're, on Strava, you can see that people like, hey, just looking at their path or whatever, you're like, oh, hey, they just ran the race. They ran that race too. And you'll be like, what was this guy did? And you're like, somebody had to take a little trail bathroom break or they got lost. And you're like,
One or the other.
What is this? I've definitely like screenshotted like buddies' pictures like out on a trail. Like, what was this about? I'm like, what are you doing over there, man?
Yes, we've done that.
So yeah, that would make me nervous because you really do need to know what you're doing if you're a pacer.
That's how much of a I've watched plenty of YouTube videos and that's always fun, but like that's a whole plan, especially for Cocodone or anything like 100 miles or something. Like they're like, here's my plan. If I say this, I need this. Don't give me this. Da da da. Like, did you like talk about like don't be afraid to yell at me or like how much of a
She kept telling me to talk, but I couldn't talk about the race. I couldn't say, we got to go faster. We got, you're doing great. She's like, I don't want to talk about the race. Talk about something else, but I'm not going to answer.
Distract her.
Well, that's very fun.
Yeah, I think I just wanted her to make noise and talk.
And then I asked her if she wanted me to
busy.
sing. She didn't really want that. So,
But yeah, looking back, that's probably something I would have talked to her about more is what I really need her to like get out of me. Because it's hard. We're friends, so how is she gonna get me to get moving?
Yeah. So is there plans for all of you to Rocky again next year?
Yes.
Redemption. That's right.
That race is going to get destroyed.
with extreme
50 mile or 100?
Ooh, depends on the weather.
Sure. Yeah. Have you?
That's a year from now. That's plenty. You've already got your base.
My blister should heal by then.
Yeah, if this blister doesn't, that's crazy. Have you thought about it? You and Steven talked about it?
I mean, I'll do it if friends do it, but we're gonna set our sights on some other races.
Ooh.
So
Very good. There's
there's so many.
so much. Yeah, there's plenty to pick from, thankfully.
Exactly.
We do have a race planned for next year, 100-miler.
Oh.
What's the name of that one?
Javelina 100
Yeah.
Oh.
in Arizona.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, that'd be
Giant
so cool.
rave. Running rave.
I think I've seen a video. Yes, that's a well-known one. That would be really cool. After I do this 50, that's probably the same kind of. I'm a couple steps behind them. After I do this 50, I'll be like, well, what's 100? What's 100K?
Melissa is working her way up to her first marathon. She's going to be doing a marathon this
January 1st, 2025.
Yes, near Houston. So I keep telling her that once she gets that marathon distance, her trail running is going to the floodgates are going to open and she's going to be in a 50K, a 50 miler. It's just going to snowball.
Yeah, let's touch on that. And with the Cowtown that just recently happened, y'all did the half, or you were there?
Yes, I did the half.
You did the full or the half?
I walked the half.
Or the half. Okay, with her?
No.
No. Okay,
No.
sure. Okay, but y'all are both. So how was that's a huge race. So how was that? Yeah, I mean,
I'll let
this is road.
Melissa.
This is
Melissa
road
got a
now,
PR, so she has.
I did get a PR. It was great. This was my third year to do Cowtown. The first year, like I said, I hadn't trained really. I mean, I trained myself. That was still training myself. And then that summer I met the herd and Lisa and Steven. And so last year's Cowtown, it was still rough. I learned so much in this last year. I got a nutritionist in November of this year. I mean, even when we all did 6-0, I knew nothing. I thought, okay, you got to eat breakfast 3 hours before or 2 hours before, and you eat whatever you're used to eating, which is true and false. And then when you're out there, once the race starts, you just eat every 45 minutes, which I learned is not correct. And I died at 6:00. Anyway, so Cowtown was good. I run walk, so I do intervals, and
Got it done in a PR. Apparently.
last year I did the half in 3 hours and 15 minutes and something seconds, and this year I did it in 2 hours and 55 minutes and 51 seconds.
So good.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy.
So training and nutrition and
A completely
support. It was a
different
completely
person.
different.
Major weight loss happened
Yeah,
since
major.
last year.
Yes.
Oh,
So
man, so much good.
Yeah.
it is.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's the
It was
beauty of it.
definitely-
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm telling her once she hits that marker, she's going to,
That's,
I mean, she's already snowballing into the, amazing, speedy.
just that growth
I'm
and
the
change.
back of the
Yes.
pack person still, though. But
I like to keep myself like, well, if you could race yourself 6 months ago, or compete against yourself a year ago or whatever, how do you think, like, could you grow any, or did you be faster, or do you have like a bigger engine now, or like what, or what would you 6 weeks ago or 6 months ago think about this? Like, what was your your mindset there and is now, or whatever? It'd be like, dang man, good job, thanks bud, okay. And like, would you fist bump myself, or would I hit myself in the face? Like get your act together, or like, hey, that's a good act. Like,
But yeah, since I started nutrition, like I did Isle de Bois, and I beat my time from the previous year, and Tyler, I beat my time from 2 years ago. So
yes,
yeah,
That's
it's just
awesome.
getting better every time.
yay.
Yes.
Next one is grasslands.
Excellent. I'm excited. I'll
What
be
is,
there.
yeah, what is, so that I was going to ask that, but so yeah, what's everybody's next thing in line, or like your big thing that you're looking forward to? Is Grassland your next
Well, it's just going to be a training run, but my next big one is Oklahoma City. It'll be a half.
is that road?
Yes, it's road.
Okay. Well, this is a trail podcast, so
I know. So grasslands I'm doing. I'm doing grasslands. Half there. Paris Pear will be a half.
Ooh.
It's trailish. It's by Blaze Trails as well, but it's run on the net up by Paris, Texas.
that's a cool area, and they do have a little Eiffel Tower. If you've never
Yes,
been out
they
there,
do.
with the cowboy hat on. Yep.
That's where you start. And then my big one is the marathon
Yay,
road.
Lisa, what is your lineup looking like this year or next A race?
It's still in thoughts right now. But in the meantime, one of my training races will be in June. I think it's also Tejas Trails, kind of. It's one of the Captain Carl's.
Oh, very good. The night race? Are you doing night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Pardonalis one. So, and the reason being is one of my teammates told me that it's at nighttime and then it's trail. And so our coach agreed that it's good training for, longer distances,
Nice.
all that good stuff. So,
I'd love to do one of the Captain Kurt's. I think it's, if I could remember, I knew this at one point, but I believe it's one of the first, if not the first or longest running night race in Texas.
Oh, wow.
I think
okay.
somewhere, do the research, but it's close to that. But that's very okay.
Yeah. So that would be a training race, but that's the only thing that we're kind of got on the books right now.
That's set right now. Okay. All right. Emily.
Same with Lisa. Looking around, but not sure yet. I want to heal my IT band and start lifting
Very
weights
safe and
again
sorry.
and balancing out some muscle in my body. But Javelina 100 next year is definitely on the books, and we may do the half. Ooh, I'm not sure what the races are, but the one this year, my boyfriend and I are gonna do maybe a 50K. I don't know what the distance is, but we're doing a lot shorter of a distance. But that one's
Okay.
at night too, so
Which
that's
one?
the plan. The Javelina 100, but it's
Okay. Oh, the
part
nighttime
of that
version.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's right.
That one I think is the rave.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yes.
Dark and
yes.
lights, that
That's
all
right.
connects together. Yes. I haven't signed up for it yet, but I was talking with some buddies. There's one in, was it by Joel Pool Lake, but the Cedar Park area is,
Yeah, Cedar Hill Park.
there's a night race there, the Lanyon.
Sufferfest.
Well, yes,
Okay.
that is one. I don't know if I'm gonna do that this year or not. We'll see. But they have I wanted to do a relay. Like, have you heard of the Ragnars, the big relays?
Yes.
I haven't done one of those. This isn't it, but I found it to be a relay. So it's a night race during like July. It's at one of the, I don't know if it's Cedar Hill Preserve or the one next. There's like three. It's not Big Cedar, but it's for like I cannot remember the name of the organization, but a lot of the funds go to like sending Bibles overseas to places and stuff. But it's a relay and it's by like hours. So it's like a team of 3, as many 5K loops in 3 hours, like 6 hours or 9 hours. And I think I was talking with like Will and Jeff maybe, because like I like the idea of a relay. It's only a 5K. And if you did it for 9 hours, really you have it you know, if y'all 3 are doing it, so it takes you 35, 40 minutes to do it, like one person's going to be waiting over an hour before they get to run again. So you can just cruise and, you know, hang out at the back of your little tent for a while. So, and it goes to a good cause and everything. So I'm looking into that one. We haven't finalized it, but I think that'd be really cool
Nice.
to do. So
That sounds fun.
definitely the Chupacabra 50 is the A race for me in a couple months and stuff, but that night relay will be really cool.
Excellent.
We'll see.
That's
I'll have to
awesome.
see wherever if we can all meet up. Are you doing the Coyote, Emily?
Possibly. I'm thinking about that one and Possum's Revenge.
Right. That's what before we start recording, I'm talking about it. Okay.
Yeah. So again, it depends on the knee, but if anything, I'll just do 8 miles for both of those races.
Yeah.
I really want the Possum's Revenge belt buckle.
buckles.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how much that like how does the shirt look? All right, I'll sign up. How
The
does the
shirts are
belt buckle?
amazing.
Right, they do. That's such a
It's like a possum riding a unicorn with a rainbow. It's the most random belt buckle
They
you'll
have
probably
4
ever
choices.
see.
Yeah.
What?
And one of them is like, yeah.
I did not know this.
It's bizarre, but it's awesome.
It's beautifully wild. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just seen the shirts of like gnarly looking possum, which I used
Yes.
to have. I used to have pet possums, and they're really cool. But they don't look like that on the shirt or ride unicorns. But that I'll definitely have to look into that too. We'll see. The Coyote I'll be at, and that's 2 weeks before the 50, so that'll be just a good little, I think, kind of training, last little touch up thing, not to be too crazy, but be fun with. So, I don't know. Did we miss anything? Any questions, fun ideas, concerns, topics?
Parting advice.
Party at what?
Parting advice.
Oh, yes. Any of that? No.
Well, I just want to say, if you go out and do a trail race, it's really a mental game. You can go out there and not train for the race and push through as long as you're just able to do that mentally. So I think just going in with the right mindset will definitely push you through. And if you could do that, you can do anything.
Yeah, I agree that the mental side of it has helped, as long as you're, like we were kind of mentioned before, to kind of come back. I think for the people that are really wanting the intent is to do good or to complete or to push yourself is the main thing. Because with that, you're expecting hard things. So like, hey, this sucks. That's what we thought was going to happen. Okay. Versus if you just signed up for it because it looked cool or something, and they're like, do I really want this or not? So if you're thinking about doing a trail race, definitely do it. You know, get to know, that's something I've mentioned before on some episodes, but it took me forever to like run with people. And then you get with people and it's like, hey, this is nice. So this is fun. And you learn so much, and y'all each other help push each other, and you grow in that way, and, you know, kind of learn more about the community and everything. So it's a lot mental and then physical too. And don't forget to change things up. And, and even if it's your first 10K and you've never done it, and it starts to rain and you're the last one and you go off course, or if it's your 50 mile or 100 mile, but that's, again, I mean, the Rocky is one we really want to talk about. I'm so glad we did. I'm glad we got to have 3 people here, everyone's story and sides of things. This was real fun.
Definitely.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you, Melissa, guys. All right. Bye.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.